What's up, everyone? Your girl is back with another insane story for you, and trust me, you're gonna want to stick around for this one. But before we dive into this wild ride, can we just take a second to appreciate this amazing community we're building? Seriously, you guys are the best. If you're loving these tales of empowerment and triumph, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button. It costs absolutely nothing, and it helps us bring more incredible content your way. And while you're at it, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think, what you've been through, or just say hi. And don't forget to share this video with anyone who needs a dose of serious inspiration. Now let's get into it because trust me, this one's a shocker. My husband is out there celebrating his new relationship, popping champagne and updating his Facebook status. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here pen in hand, signing papers that will end everything he cares about. He has no clue what he's about to lose. Funny thing about that Tesla, he's probably sleeping in by Monday. I paid for it. Just like I paid for everything else he's about to lose. My hand doesn't shake as I sign another document. 12 years of marriage, and Ethan still thinks I'm just the pretty face who got lucky with a successful husband. He forgot, or maybe never cared to remember, that before I became Mrs. Miller, I was the youngest partner at Vanguard Capital, the same firm that handled the offshore accounts he thought he'd hidden so cleverly. Are you sure about this timing, Ms. Hayes? Denise, my lawyer, watches me with a mixture of admiration and concern. We could wait until... Look, I turn my phone toward her, showing Ethan's latest Facebook post. The timestamp reads, 2 minutes ago. Living my best life with my soulmate, #new chapter, #blessed. The photo shows them at the Palm Steakhouse, the same restaurant where he proposed to me. He's even wearing the Omega watch I gave him for our 10th anniversary. The timing, I say, signing another paper with a flourish, is perfect. My phone buzzes again. A text from Ethan. Hey beautiful, don't wait up tonight. Big client meeting, running late, love you. I've saved every text like this from the past 6 months. Each one corresponds perfectly with a credit card charge at hotels, restaurants, jewelry stores, the ones he doesn't know I've traced. The ones that match perfectly with Tiffany's Instagram posts, flaunting each spontaneous gift from her married lover. What they don't know is that I've known for months. Every late-night meeting, every business trip, every suspicious charge. I've documented it all, but unlike most scorned wives, I didn't confront him. I didn't throw his clothes on the lawn or key his precious Tesla. Instead, I did what I do best. I followed the money. This one, Denise points to a particular document, will freeze all joint accounts and trigger an automatic audit once you sign. There's no going back. I think about this morning. How Ethan kissed my cheek before leaving for work. How he promised we'd plan that trip to Hawaii soon. Meanwhile, I'd already seen the Hawaii reservations he'd made, not for us, but for him and Tiffany next month, at the same resort where we spent our honeymoon. Good, I say, signing my name. That's exactly what I want. My phone lights up with another notification, an Instagram story this time. Tiffany showing off a new Tiffany Co. bracelet, tagged with "From My Love." I screenshot it, noting the date and time. It matches perfectly with a withdrawal from our joint savings account, the one Ethan thinks I never check. The forensic team will start their investigation on Monday, Denise explains, organizing the papers. Given what you've already uncovered, they'll have more than enough to prove he's been embezzling from his own company, I finish for her, pulling up a folder on my phone. Here's every transaction he's tried to hide through that fake consulting firm he set up, the one where Tiffany mysteriously became CEO 2 months ago, despite having 0 business experience. Denise's eyes widen as she scrolls through the documents. This is incredibly thorough. I had a lot of free evenings, I say dryly. You know, with all his late meetings. As if on cue, my phone buzzes with a group chat notification. Our couple friends planning a dinner next week. Ethan responds immediately. Sorry, everyone. I'll be out of town on business. I know about that business trip, too. I've seen the tickets to Miami he booked for him and Tiffany, first class, charged to his corporate card. The same corporate card that's about to be flagged for audit. Last one, Denise says, sliding the final paper across the desk. This initiates the full investigation into both personal and corporate accounts. Once you sign this, I don't hesitate. My signature flows across the paper, years of anger and betrayal channeled into each curve and line. As I dot the I in haze, another notification pops up. Ethan going live on Facebook from what's supposed to be his client meeting. Let them celebrate, I say, standing up and smoothing my dress, the one Ethan bought me last month out of guilt. By Monday morning, they'll have a very different status to update. Denise gathers the papers, her expression both impressed and slightly unnerved. You know, in 12 years of handling divorces, I've never seen anyone quite as prepared. Strategic, I suggest, picking up my bag. Or maybe just tired of being underestimated. As I walk out of the office, my phone buzzes one last time. Ethan sending his nightly check-in. Miss you, beautiful. Can't wait to come home to you. I smile, typing back, sleep well, honey. Monday's going to be interesting. He'll think it's just another loving message from his unsuspecting wife. But then again, he always did underestimate me. That's about to become his most expensive mistake. The morning after signing those initial papers, I dress with extra care. Chanel suit, Manolo Blahnik heels, his favorite pearl necklace, the armor of a woman who has everything under control. The mirror reflects exactly what Ethan expects to see, his perfectly polished wife, none the wiser about his secret life. Good morning, sweetheart, I call out as he stumbles into the kitchen, hungover from last night's client meeting. I made your favorite breakfast. He kisses my cheek, reeking of expensive whiskey and guilt. You're too good to me, babe. If only you knew, I think, sliding his coffee across the counter. The same counter where I'd sat until 2 a.m. last night on a video call with my old colleague David from Vanguard Capital. David, who now heads their forensic accounting department. David, who nearly choked on his own coffee when I showed him what I'd found in Ethan's supposedly secure cloud drive. Another early meeting? I ask innocently, watching him check his phone. His lock screen is still our vacation photo from last summer. His background, I know, is Tiffany. I've seen it reflected in his car window when he texts her. Yeah, the Sterling deal is killing me. He runs a hand through his hair, distracted. The Sterling deal that doesn't exist. I've already checked. His firm hasn't handled anything for Sterling Industries in over a year. Don't work too hard, I say, squeezing his shoulder. He doesn't notice that I'm taking a photo of his phone screen in the reflection of our kitchen window, capturing Tiffany's message about their lunch plans. After he leaves, I transform our home office into my war room. Spreadsheets replace family photos on the walls. Bank statements and property records cover every surface. My friend Megan, a corporate lawyer I've known since college, sits cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by documents. Jesus Christ, she mutters, holding up a paper. Did he really think he could hide a shell company this obvious in the Caymans? I laugh, but there's no humor in it. He registered it under our dog's name. Our dead dog. Megan shakes her head, adding the paper to our growing evidence pile. Men like him always think they're the smartest person in the room. That's because they never bother looking around the room, I reply, pulling up another document on my laptop. Look at this. Every time he meets Tiffany for one of their little dates, he files it as a business expense. $300 bottles of wine with a woman who's supposedly just a junior consultant. My phone buzzes, a group text from our friend Jessica about her upcoming dinner party. Ethan responds immediately with another excuse. Tiffany, I notice, declines the invitation too. They're getting careless, confident. It would almost be funny if it weren't so perfectly aligned with my timeline. Have you talked to Ava yet? Megan asks, referring to our friend who heads the SEC's forensic team. I nod, pulling up an encrypted email. She's ready. The moment we file on Monday, she'll coincidentally launch a routine audit of his firm. The same audit that will discover Tiffany's consulting company has been receiving suspicious payments since before it legally existed. My phone lights up with Ethan's face, his daily check-in call. I answer with practiced cheerfulness, listening to him lie about his lunch meeting while I stare at the hotel receipt from his actual location. "Miss you too, honey," I say, watching Megan roll her eyes. "Don't forget, we have dinner with the Robertsons tonight." He pauses. I can practically hear him texting Tiffany to reschedule. "Of course, babe, wouldn't miss it." After hanging up, I turn to Megan. "He'll cancel in about 3 hours. Emergency client meeting." "How can you be so sure?" I pull up Tiffany's Instagram story from this morning, a cryptic post about a special surprise tonight. Because I know their routine better than they do. The rest of the day is a carefully choreographed dance. I attend my regular board meetings, make appearances at my usual lunch spots, even get my nails done at the salon where Ethan's secretary gets hers. Everything normal, everything routine. No one would suspect that in my briefcase, I'm carrying documents that will dismantle a decade of Ethan's careful deceptions. Right on schedule, at 3:47 p.m., Ethan texts, "Baby, I'm so sorry. Robertson dinner might have to rain check. Massive crisis with the Shanghai account." I respond with just the right amount of disappointment and understanding. The Shanghai account has been closed for months. Another fact he doesn't know I know. "Look what just came in," Megan says, holding up her phone. Tiffany's posted a photo of champagne glasses at sunset. The location tag is accidentally visible. The rooftop bar at the Standard where Ethan first kissed me. "Perfect," I say, adding the screenshot to our collection. That receipt will match beautifully with the emergency business dinner he's about to charge to the corporate card. As evening falls, I sit in our perfectly appointed living room, surrounded by evidence of Ethan's double life and my own careful documentation. Every lie, every secret meeting, every hidden transaction, all of it meticulously cataloged and cross-referenced. My phone buzzes with another Instagram notification. Tiffany wearing a new dress that costs more than her monthly consulting fee, captioned with a single heart emoji. I save it to the folder marked Monday and pour myself another glass of wine. Let them have their romantic evening. Let them think they're the clever ones, hiding their great love story from the naive wife. I've spent months building this facade of ignorance, and in 2 days, I'll have the pleasure of watching it shatter, along with everything else they thought they could take from me. Sunday morning, the last peaceful Sunday Ethan will ever have, though he doesn't know it yet. I watch him sleep, his face relaxed in blissful ignorance. His phone buzzes on the nightstand. Tiffany's morning text, right on schedule. I've memorized their patterns better than they have. While he showers, I begin my final preparations. My laptop hums quietly as I log into accounts he doesn't know exist. Accounts I've spent months preparing, each one a carefully positioned piece on my chessboard. The first transfer goes through silently. $2.3 million moved from our joint savings to my new secure account. Money I'd earned and saved before we even met, which he'd slowly merged into our finances. "Just going for a quick round of golf, babe," Ethan calls out, already heading for the door. I know he's meeting Tiffany at their usual hotel, the one that bills itself as a business center on credit card statements. "Have fun, honey," I reply, not looking up from my laptop as I initiate another transfer. "Don't forget, we have brunch with my parents next weekend." "Pa, of course, wouldn't miss it." Another lie. He's already booked flights to Jackson Hole with Tiffany for those dates. I have the receipts, literally. Once he's gone, my real work begins. Denise arrives first, bringing fresh coffee and a stack of final documents. Megan follows with her laptop and legal files. David dials in virtually, his forensic accounting expertise crucial for these last steps. Everything's in position, Denise says, spreading papers across our dining room table, the same table where Ethan and I renewed our vows last year. The moment the courts open tomorrow morning, it all goes into motion. I pull up my masterpiece on the screen, a flowchart that would make military strategists proud. Every account, every asset, every shell company he thought was hidden. Red lines connecting his business meetings with hotel charges. Blue lines tracking money flowing into Tiffany's fake consulting firm. Green lines marking every lie, documented with timestamps and evidence. The SEC team is ready, Megan confirms, checking her phone. Ava says they'll randomly select his firm for audit exactly 1 hour after the divorce papers are filed. David's voice crackles through the speaker. I've identified 7 more accounts he tried to hide through that Cayman Islands setup. Amateur hour, really. He used variations of his mother's maiden name for all of them. What about the offshore transfers? I ask, pulling up another spreadsheet. All traced and documented. He really thought running them through Tiffany's consulting company would hide them. Classic rookie mistake. He was so busy creating a complex web, he didn't notice we were watching every single thread. My phone buzzes. A photo from our couple friends. Ethan and Tiffany accidentally running into them at a cafe across town. Perfect. More witnesses for the timeline. More evidence of the affair they think is so well hidden. Look at this, Megan says, turning her laptop toward me. Tiffany's just posted a cryptic Instagram story, a champagne glass, a hint of a hotel suite, tagged, "Living my best life." The location data she forgot to disable matches exactly with Ethan's credit card charge from 10 minutes ago. Add it to the file, I say, initialing another document. Every little bit helps. Denise hands me the final set of papers. These will freeze everything the moment they're filed. Bank accounts, investment portfolios, property transfers, all of it. What about his backup accounts? Megan asks. The ones he thinks no one knows about? I smile, pulling up another screen. Already handled. Every account he's opened in the last 5 years has my name attached as a silent co-owner. A benefit of being the trophy wife, he never bothered to investigate. He forgot I specialized in asset protection before he married me. My phone lights up with Ethan's face, his guilty check-in call. "Hi, honey," I answer, my voice dripping with practiced sweetness. "How's golf?" "Great, babe. Just finishing up the back 9. The clink of glasses in the background betrays his location. I put him on speaker so everyone can hear, adding another recording to our evidence file. "Don't work too hard at that emergency meeting you'll have later," I say after hanging up. Megan raises an eyebrow. "Give it an hour," I explain. He always invents an emergency meeting after these golf games. Right on cue, 50 minutes later. "Babe, I'm so sorry. Prescott needs me to review some urgent contracts. Might be a late one." I text back the perfect understanding wife response while Denise finalizes tomorrow's timeline. Everything is scheduled down to the minute. Divorce filing at 9 o'clock a.m. Account freezes at 9:05. SEC audit notification at 10 o'clock a.m. And just for poetic justice, it all happens during his big presentation to potential investors. "Are you sure you want to wait until tomorrow?" Megan asks, watching me sort through the last of the documents. "We could pull the trigger now." I shake my head, thinking of the Instagram posts. I've seen them planning for tonight, some big celebration of their love. Let them have their last hurrah. Let them toast to their future with money that won't be there tomorrow. Let them feel as secure and invincible as they want for one more night. "Tomorrow," I say, signing the final preparation document with a flourish. Let them sleep tonight thinking they've won. Tomorrow they learn what it means to underestimate the wrong woman. Monday morning dawns crisp and clear, a perfect day for endings disguised as beginnings. I wake up to an empty bed, Ethan never came home last night. His side of the bed is still made, untouched. My phone already has 3 notifications. His apologetic text about falling asleep at the office, Tiffany's Instagram story of sunrise from a hotel room I paid for, and Denise's message confirming she's at the courthouse. Showtime, I whispered to myself, slipping into the power suit I'd laid out last night. Red Versace, his favorite. He always said I looked killer in it. Today, that word feels especially appropriate. My phone buzzes again. A group chat message from Ethan. Everyone, Tiffany and I have an announcement to make. Dinner at Daniel tonight, 8 o'clock p.m. Time to share some amazing news. I screenshot it for the record as our friends' congratulatory messages pour in. None of them know that Tiffany's been wearing my grandmother's ring for weeks now. None of them know that Daniel reservation was made on our joint credit card, the same card that will be declined by the time dessert arrives. All set? Megan texts. Right on schedule, I reply, watching my security cameras as Ethan pulls into our driveway. He's whistling as he enters, carrying fresh coffee and croissants, his guilty conscience breakfast routine. Morning, beautiful? He kisses my cheek, and I let him, knowing it's the last time he'll ever do so. I got your favorite. You're in a good mood, I observe, accepting the coffee I won't drink. Years of practice keep my hands steady, my smile perfect. Big day at work, he grins, straightening his tie, the expensive one I bought him for Christmas. Huge investor presentation. Could change everything. Oh, honey, I think you have no idea. That's wonderful, I say, checking my watch. 8:47 a.m. In 13 minutes, Denise will file the papers. In 14 minutes, every account Ethan has access to will freeze. In 15 minutes, the SEC will receive an anonymous tip about irregular financial activities at his firm. By the time he finishes his coffee, his entire world will be in free fall. Don't want to be late. He grabs his briefcase, the one still stamped with my family's business logo, a detail he never appreciated. Dinner tonight, big news to share. I smile, remembering the engagement announcement he's already drafted on his phone. I saw it reflected in our bedroom mirror last night while he was texting Tiffany. I wouldn't miss it for the world. The moment he leaves, I open my laptop. Multiple windows appear. Live feeds from his office security cameras. Amazing what being listed as a company co-founder lets you access. His email inbox, shared with me years ago and never unshared. And the courthouse filing system. 8:57 a.m. Ethan walks into his office, still whistling. Tiffany's there, perched on his desk in a dress that probably cost 3 months of her fake consulting salary. 8:59 a.m. They're kissing, celebrating their moment of triumph. His phone shows him checking their dinner reservation, the one where he plans to announce their engagement to our friends. 9 o'clock a.m. Denise's name appears in the court filing system. 9:01 a.m. The first domino falls. I watch through the security feed as Ethan's phone starts buzzing, his bank apps pushing notifications. His executive assistant rushing in with a panicked look. Tiffany's face shifting from joy to confusion as Ethan's face drains of color. What do you mean account's frozen? I hear him shout through the feed. Check again, 9:05 a.m. The SEC notification hits, 9:06 a.m. His potential investors start calling to cancel the presentation. I sip my real coffee, not the one he brought, and watch it all unfold. Every scenario I'd planned for plays out exactly as predicted. Ethan runs from his office, phone pressed to his ear, probably trying to reach our financial advisor. But Chris, my old college friend, is conveniently in meetings all day. Tiffany follows him, confusion turning to panic as her own account notifications start rolling in. That fake consulting firm they thought was so clever, currently being dissected by forensic accountants who are finding exactly what I wanted them to find. My phone lights up with messages from our friends, all responding to Ethan's group dinner invitation. I respond with a simple can't wait, knowing exactly how this evening will end. More notifications flood in. Ethan trying to access our safety deposit box, already emptied last week. Attempting to transfer funds from our secret offshore accounts, frozen. Calling his lawyer, who's currently reviewing the mountain of evidence I've compiled. Through it all, I sit in my home office, watching the security feeds like a general observing her battlefield. Every frantic move he makes was predicted, planned for, and countered before he even thought to make it. Status? Denise texts. Everything proceeding as planned, I reply, watching Ethan pace his office, his perfect world crumbling minute by minute. He just tried the Cayman accounts, all frozen. Ava's team is having a field day with those transfers. Tiffany's on her phone too now, probably realizing that her consulting firm is about to bring more attention than she wanted. The look on her face suggests she's finally understanding what being under federal investigation means. My phone buzzes one last time. Ethan, babe, might have to cancel dinner tonight. Huge crisis at work. I smile, typing my final response as his perfect new beginning implodes. No problem, honey. I have some paperwork to take care of anyway. Good luck with your presentation. By noon, Ethan's perfectly constructed world is showing its first real cracks. I watch through the security feed as he paces his office like a caged animal, phone pressed to his ear, having the same conversation for the 5th time. What do you mean you can't override it? He shouts at his private banker. I own the damn company. Owned, I think, taking another sip of coffee. Past tense. The SEC investigators arrived 20 minutes ago, right on schedule. They're in the conference room now, boxes of documents spread across the table. Tiffany sits among them, her designer dress suddenly seeming out of place as they question her about her consulting qualifications. My phone buzzes. It's Ethan. Honey, something's wrong with all our accounts. His voice is tight, controlled panic seeping through. Have you tried accessing anything today? Oh, I keep my voice light, curious. Let me check. I make a show of typing, though I'm really watching him through the camera feed, seeing him run his hands through his hair in frustration. That's strange. Have you called the bank? They're saying. He pauses, and I can see him on the feed, turning to look through his office windows at the SEC team. They're saying there's some kind of investigation. Something about irregular transfers. That sounds serious, I reply, watching Tiffany being escorted to a separate conference room. Should I be worried? No, it's just a misunderstanding. He's sweating now. Listen, about dinner tonight. The engagement announcement? I say softly, dead silence on the line. On the security feed, I watch him freeze, his face draining of color. What did you say? His voice is barely a whisper. The engagement announcement. You know, tonight at Daniel. With my grandmother's ring, the one you told me was stolen. Each word falls like a gavel strike. The ring that matches the one she's been wearing in her Instagram stories for the past 3 weeks. He slumps into his chair. On another screen, I watch his email light up with notifications. Major clients pulling their accounts, board members calling emergency meetings, Tiffany's lawyer requesting an urgent consultation. How, he starts. How long have I known? I finish for him. Long enough to document everything. The fake consulting firm, the offshore accounts, the creative bookkeeping you thought no one would notice. I pause, letting each revelation sink in. Long enough to make sure that when this day came, there would be nothing left for you to hide behind. You did this? Realization crashes over his face on the security feed. The SEC investigation, the frozen accounts. I especially enjoyed watching you try to access the Cayman accounts this morning. I add, my voice cool. Though I have to ask, using our dead dog's name as a password, really, Ethan? His next words come out strangled. I can explain. To me or to the SEC. Because right now, they're very interested in how Tiffany became CEO of a consulting firm that was billing your company millions before it legally existed. Through the feed, I watched Tiffany being handed a stack of documents. Every transaction, every fake invoice, every fictional consulting report traced back to its source. Her perfect makeup doesn't hide her growing panic. "You don't understand," Ethan attempts, desperation creeping in. "This will destroy everything." "No, Ethan, you destroyed everything the moment you decided our marriage vows were optional." I pause, watching another email pop up on his screen, his lawyer dropping him as a client. "I'm just making sure you pay fair market value for that decision." His corporate card declines as he tries to order lunch. His assistant quietly clears her desk, having already accepted a position at a competing firm, arranged weeks ago through my network. One by one, the pillars of his carefully constructed life crumble. The board meeting, he suddenly remembers, horror dawning. "The investor presentation has been canceled," I finish for him, "though you might want to prep for a different kind of presentation." The forensic accounting team has some interesting questions about certain creative financial decisions. Tiffany bursts into his office, mascara streaking her cheeks. "They're saying I could face charges," she sobs. "Ethan, what did you do?" I watch them through the feed, these two people who thought they were so clever, so secret, so safe in their little bubble of betrayal. The SEC team is boxing up computers. His executive team is calling an emergency board meeting, one he's specifically not invited to attend. "One more thing," I add, my voice eerily calm. "You might want to check the deed to your Tesla. Actually, check all the car deeds and the house and the vacation properties." I pause, savoring the moment. It's amazing what people don't read before signing, isn't it? The last thread of his composure snaps. Through the feed, I watch him frantically pulling up documents on his computer, finally seeing my name on everything he thought was his alone. "You were right about one thing," I tell him, standing up from my desk. "Tonight's dinner at Daniel would have changed everything. But not the way you planned." I end the call as Denise texts me, "Phase 2 ready when you are." I text back a single word, "Begin." Through the feed, I watch as security enters Ethan's office. His company badge no longer works. His parking pass is deactivated. His world, so perfectly built on lies and stolen money, dissolves like a sandcastle at high tide. And I haven't even served him the divorce papers yet. By 3 o'clock, Ethan's carefully constructed empire is falling faster than he can count the losses. I've moved my operation to Denise's office, where multiple screens show the systematic dismantling of everything he built, or rather, everything we built that he thought was his alone. "Another board member just jumped ship," Megan announces, checking her tablet. "That makes 7 out of 9. I watch the live feed from his office building's security cameras. Ethan still sits in his chair, tie loosened, staring at his useless computer screen. Tiffany left an hour ago, escorted by her own lawyer after breaking down in the SEC interview room. Her last words to Ethan were caught perfectly on camera. "You promised they would never find out about the money." My phone hasn't stopped buzzing with notifications, each one another piece of his life crumbling. Cayman, First National Bank, unusual activity alert. Amex card suspended. Bloomberg breaking. Miller Financial under federal investigation. Daniel reservation canceled. Payment declined. His lawyer just filed to withdraw representation, Denise notes, hanging up her phone. Apparently, Ethan tried to pay his retainer from one of the frozen accounts. A new email pops up on my screen, the board's official statement. Effective immediately, Ethan Miller has been suspended from all duties pending investigation into financial irregularities. "Look at this," Megan says, turning her laptop toward me. Tiffany's Instagram story shows her hastily packing suitcases into an Uber. The caption reads, "Sometimes what looks like love is just another lie." I allow myself a small smile. "How's the media coverage going?" "Viral," Megan confirms. The New York Times just picked up the story. They're particularly interested in the fake consulting firm angle. Someone leaked Tiffany's complete lack of business credentials. That someone being me through 3 different anonymous email accounts, timed perfectly to hit when the story would do maximum damage. My phone rings. Ethan again. His 4th call in the last hour. This time I answer. Where are you? His voice is ragged. We need to talk about this. About what, Ethan? The SEC investigation? The board suspension? Or maybe the engagement ring you bought with company funds? I keep my voice cool, professional. Or should we discuss the offshore accounts first? You don't understand what you've done, he pleads. The investors, the clients, everything I've built. Everything we built, I correct him. Or did you forget who introduced you to half your major clients? Who helped you structure your first big deal? Who taught you about offshore banking in the first place? Through the security feed, I watch him slump further in his chair. I can fix this. Just tell me what you want. What I want? I let out a small laugh. I want you to understand what it feels like to lose everything you thought was yours. I want you to experience what it's like to have your world pulled out from under you while someone you trusted watches and smiles. His computer screen lights up with another email. His country club membership suspended. Then another. His private jet share program terminated. His phone buzzes constantly with clients pulling their accounts. Partners distancing themselves. Friends suddenly becoming unavailable. The press is outside, he says quietly. They're asking about Tiffany's consulting firm. Ah, yes. The firm that somehow billed $3 million in consulting fees before it was legally registered. Interesting business model. A notification pops up on my screen. Tiffany's giving an interview to a financial blog, throwing Ethan under the bus to save herself. Smart girl. Smarter than he thought she was, anyway. The house, he starts. My name's on the deed, I remind him. My name's on everything, remember? All those documents you signed last year when we restructured our assets? You really should read the fine print, honey. Through the feed, I watch as security approaches his office again. Sir, the board has requested you vacate the premises. One more thing, I add before hanging up. You might want to check your email. The Ritz-Carlton just confirmed they're happy to extend my stay in the presidential suite. You remember the one you booked for your weekend with Tiffany? Amazing how willing they were to transfer the reservation when I showed them proof I paid for it. I end the call as security begins boxing up his personal items. His corporate phone goes dark. Service terminated. His company car's GPS shows it being towed from the executive parking spot he'll never use again. Megan hands me a fresh stack of documents. Phase 3. I nod, signing each page with a flourish. Every signature strips away another piece of the life he thought was his alone. Has Tiffany's interview gone live yet? Just posted, Denise confirms. She's claiming she was manipulated into the fake consulting scheme. Says she has emails to prove it. Of course she does, I smile. I sent them to her this morning. My phone lights up with another notification. Ethan trying to check into the Ritz-Carlton himself, probably hoping to drown his sorrows in the bar. His card declines. All his cards decline. Through the office camera, I watch him finally stand up, gathering what's left of his dignity, along with the sad box of personal items security allowed him to keep. His empire of cards, built on lies and betrayal, hasn't just fallen. It's been systematically dismantled, brick by brick, lie by lie. Should we tell him about tomorrow? Megan asks. I shake my head, watching him walk past the press cameras, shoulders slumped. Former king of his domain, now reduced to taking an Uber home. Let him sleep on this first. Tomorrow's revelations deserve a fresh audience. After all, we haven't even started on his family's trust fund yet. Tuesday morning brings the kind of headlines you can't buy with PR spin. Miller Financial CEO suspended amid fraud allegations. Wall Street romance ends in federal investigation. Fake consulting firm exposes multi-million-dollar scheme. I read them all from the comfort of my new Ritz-Carlton suite, the same one where Ethan and Tiffany celebrated their love just days ago. The irony of enjoying their champagne preferences while watching their world burn isn't lost on me. The trust fund documents are ready, Denise announces, entering with a fresh stack of papers. His family's lawyers are, let's say, very interested in how he's been managing their generational wealth. I smile, remembering Ethan's smug face when he talked about his family's old money. The same money he's been quietly siphoning through Tiffany's consulting firm, thinking his family would never notice, never question their golden boy. My phone buzzes. A text from his mother. We need to talk. Now. The security feed from our home shows Ethan still passed out on the couch, surrounded by empty whiskey bottles. He tried using his keycard at 3 different hotels last night before realizing all his cards were frozen. The Ritz-Carlton staff were particularly amused when he demanded his suite, the one I'm currently occupying. His sister's statement just went live, Megan says, turning her tablet toward me. The headline reads, "Family shocked by financial misconduct. We trusted him with everything. Perfect timing." I'd made sure his family received their copy of the forensic accounting report bright and early this morning. Nothing like breakfast with a side of betrayal. Tiffany's doing damage control, Denise notes, showing me another headline. Whistleblower comes clean. He made me do it. I laugh softly. The evidence Tiffany's turning over to the SEC is exactly what I wanted her to find. Every email, every document, every transaction carefully crafted to tell the story I've been writing for months. A commotion in the hotel lobby catches my attention on the security feed. Ethan, unshaven and disheveled, attempting to talk his way past security. My wife is up there. It's my suite, I text the front desk. Mr. Miller is no longer associated with this reservation. Please have security escort him out. The board meeting starts in an hour, Megan reminds me. They're voting on permanent removal. I nod, slipping into a black Chanel dress, another one Ethan paid for during his guilty shopping spree. Are the shareholders ready? Oh, they're ready, Denise grins. Turns out they don't appreciate their CEO using company funds to finance his affair and fake consulting scheme. My phone lights up with another notification. Tiffany giving a tearful interview on a morning financial show. I was young and naive. He said the consulting firm was legitimate. She plays the victim well, almost as well as she played the seductress, I observe. Speaking of playing roles, Megan says, your car's ready whenever you are. I check my reflection one last time. Power suit, perfect makeup. Flawless expression, composed. Today isn't about revenge. It's about justice, served with a side of poetic timing. The boardroom falls silent as I enter. Ethan, forced to attend as a formality, looks like he's aged years overnight. Tiffany sits at the opposite end, her designer outfit replaced by something appropriately subdued for someone facing federal charges. Mrs. Hayes, the board chairman greets me. Thank you for agreeing to take emergency control of the company during this situation. Ethan's head snaps up. What? I take my seat. His seat, technically, since the emergency board vote last night. Did you forget who owns controlling interest in the company, honey? Check the shareholding structure. I believe you signed those papers yourself last year. The color drains from his face as the documents are distributed. His signature on every page, transferring control to me in case of emergency. Just another document in the pile he never bothered to read. Now, I address the board, ignoring Ethan's strangled attempt to speak. Let's discuss the company's future direction. I believe we all agree changes are needed. Tiffany attempts to slip out quietly. Please stay, Ms. Thompson, I call out pleasantly. The SEC has some follow-up questions about your consulting expertise, or lack thereof. The next hour is a masterclass in corporate dismantling. Every scheme exposed, every fraud documented, every lie unraveled. Ethan and Tiffany sit there, watching as their perfect plan crumbles under the weight of meticulous evidence. One final item, I announce as the meeting concludes, the family trust. Ethan goes completely still. The trust, his safety net, his backup plan. His birthright, the one thing he thought I couldn't touch. Your mother asked me to give you this. I slide a document across the table. The trustees are concerned about recent investment decisions. He opens it with trembling hands. Inside, notice of his removal as trust beneficiary, effective immediately. His family's old money now as untouchable as everything else he thought was his. The police have some questions as well, I add casually, about certain creative accounting practices with the trust funds. They'll be waiting outside. As security leads them out, Ethan to the waiting police, Tiffany to her own legal reckoning, I remain seated, queen of the empire he thought he'd built alone. Justice, it turns out, tastes better than revenge. 1 month later, the penthouse view of Manhattan stretches out before me, the city lights twinkling like the diamonds I never returned. The Wall Street Journal sits on my desk, today's headline already framed for my office wall. Miller Financial rebounds under new leadership. Stock prices soar. My phone buzzes with a news alert. Ethan Miller pleads guilty in financial fraud case. I take a sip of champagne, the expensive kind, the kind he used to impress Tiffany with, and savor both the taste and the moment. The last of the paperwork is filed, Denise announces, entering my office with a final stack of documents. As of 4:32 p.m. today, you're officially divorced. I sign the papers with the Mont Blanc pen Ethan gave me for our last anniversary. Another bit of poetic justice, using his gifts to sign away his future. Have you seen this? Megan asks, showing me her tablet. Tiffany's giving another interview, this time from her parents' home in New Jersey. Her plea deal required full cooperation, which she gave with impressive enthusiasm. Hell hath no fury like a mistress facing federal charges. Ms. Thompson provided crucial evidence, the article reads, leading to additional charges in the expanding financial fraud investigation. I smile, remembering how eagerly Tiffany handed over everything once she realized I'd given her the perfect exit strategy. A few strategic emails, some carefully planted evidence, and suddenly she was the victimized whistleblower instead of the willing accomplice. His mother called again, Denise mentions, settling into one of my office chairs. The family wants to thank you for protecting their trust fund. Apparently, you saved them from losing 3 generations of wealth. Ironic, I muse, considering Ethan always said I didn't understand old money values. My assistant enters with more news. The company's stock has jumped another 15 points since you announced the restructuring plan. Turns out removing fraudulent leadership is good for business, I say. Who knew? They're calling you the Phoenix of Wall Street, Megan notes, reading from another article. Rising from the ashes of corporate scandal to lead one of the most remarkable turnarounds in financial history. I walk to the window, looking out at the empire I helped build and now fully own. In the reflection, I see not the trophy wife Ethan thought he married, but the woman I always was. Brilliant, calculating, unstoppable. Have you heard from him? Denise asks quietly. I nod toward a letter on my desk. Ethan's final attempt at what? Reconciliation? Manipulation? It doesn't matter anymore. Dear Olivia, it begins, I understand now what I lost. Too late, Ethan. Too late by exactly 12 years, 3 months, and 27 days. The media wants an interview, Megan mentions. Forbes specifically. They're doing a piece on women in finance. Tell them yes, I decide. It's time to tell my own story. My phone buzzes one last time. A text from Ethan's sister. Thank you for saving our family legacy. He never deserved you. I think back to that first Instagram post, the one that started it all. Ethan, so proud of his new relationship status, thinking he was writing the beginning of his new life. He never realized he was actually writing the end of his old one. The SEC investigation is expanding, Denise notes. They're looking into his previous ventures now. Let them, I say. I've given them everything they need. Every document, every transaction, every lie, carefully preserved and annotated. Megan raises her glass. To justice served cold, I shake my head, raising my own glass. To underestimating the wrong woman. As the sun sets over Manhattan, I open my laptop to review tomorrow's board meeting agenda. The company's doing well. Better than ever, actually. Turns out removing fraudulent leadership and installing someone who actually understands finance does wonders for the bottom line. The last rays of sunlight catch my wedding ring, the only thing I kept from my marriage. Not out of sentiment, but as a reminder that sometimes the most valuable things in life are the lessons we learn from those who try to destroy us. One last thing, Denise says, pulling out a final document. Your name change paperwork is ready. Do you want to go back to your maiden name? I consider this for a moment, looking at the empire I now control. No, I decide. Let him see my name, his name, on everything he lost. Let him read about every success, every triumph, every achievement he could have shared if he hadn't been so blind. The New York lights flicker to life as darkness falls. From my penthouse office, the city looks like a constellation of possibilities. Ethan saw me as a trophy to be displayed and discarded. He never understood that I was always the hunter, never the prize. What's next? Megan asks, gathering her things. Everything, I reply, turning from the window to face my future. Everything is next, because the thing about rising from the ashes, you emerge stronger, wiser, and ready to soar. Ethan thought he was writing our ending, but he only wrote his own, my story. His beginning, and this time I'm holding the pen. All right, that's a wrap on this epic tale, fam. What a ride, right? This woman is an absolute legend, and I hope her story gave you that surge of power you needed today. Don't forget to hit that like button if you felt that energy. Leave me a comment with your thoughts. I read every single one. And seriously, share this video with someone who needs to hear this. Let's keep building this community of strong, unstoppable people. Until next time, stay empowered.